Come back on with your reflections because I want to make sure that this segment right here, we have some people who are here that we have put through the trading program. They come on board, and these individuals will be speaking to the audience because this is a trading program that we just started, right? And people are actually getting the benefits. That's the most important thing. People are actually winning. People are actually submitting to the system. They're attending the trainings and applying what they're learning, and they're pushing the darn button, right? And so I know I have Katrina Whitfield on here. I know I have Angel Trent on here, Latoya Landry, Kim Bean, and then our esteemed host, our guest, will be on at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Now, real quick here. So let's see here. We'll start off. We'll start off, and now Latoya, and just so you guys, we're gonna make sure that the questions. Let's make sure once we get these questions out here, answer a couple questions. Is just go ahead and get right to it. You know what I'm saying? This is what happened. This is why I got started. This is those type of things, so we can keep the flow going. And matter of fact, I see King. Okay, Queen Bee is on here too. So let me go ahead and start with Queen Bee, and and ask you a question. When it comes to trading, why did you get started trading, if you don't mind?
It just really made sense with the economy the way it was, the way it still is, honestly. It just made sense. I am a believer in working from home. I am a believer in not punching the clock.
Hmm.
And so this was an avenue for me to be able to say, you know what, I could literally do this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, typically 5 days a week, but yes, you could literally do it 7 days a week. And so it just made sense for me when it came to this industry to be able to it started with COVID, Mr. Bean. With COVID, when I took my tennis racket, the boys, us, we went to the tennis court, and literally in between breaks and recess, I got on my phone, did a trade, and like made 20 bucks in 3 minutes.
Hmm.
So that was an eye opener for me to start trading. We were on the beaches of the world in Cancun, and we're literally at the elevator waiting for the elevator to come down. Pressed the button and made some coins. Like, like anywhere you go, you could trade. And
Hmm.
so I live a life of no restrictions, and I want to be able to continue to show our boys that same lifestyle.
Awesome.
And so it only made sense.
No problem. No problem. And tell you, why did you get started trading?
Because I had to do it for my family. Um, been on my job 20 plus years and things were starting to go down. The ship was sinking.
Hmm.
Thank God I was able to get out with my retirement, but I didn't want that to continue to be the situation I would be facing. What am I going to do? So I just wanted to take control of my own finances, diversify my portfolio, and on and on and on. Like I wanted more options. And
Okay,
I know if I was getting more, my family would get more.
that's fantastic. And speaking of family, who's all trading in your family?
My son, Cameron, he's been
Mhm.
my A1 from day one.
Hmm. That's a bad boy. He out there making it happen. I'm excited for him. I'm proud of him. That's my dude. You know what I'm saying? So tell him I say what's
Absolutely.
up when you
I
talk to him.
will.
Appreciate it. All
He's
right,
my biggest
Angel.
cheerleader.
All right, Angel. Real quick, Angel. Why did you start trading?
Hi, Mr. Bean. Why I started trading is as a single mom of three, I needed something that I could do that didn't take, a lot of time, right? As Miss Bean stated, time freedom is very important to me only because I don't have it with three kids. And then being able to share that with more people who are single moms like mine was what empowered me to continue.
Awesome. All right, Ms. Whitfield. Welcome to the panel. Why did you get started trading?
I actually got started trading. I'm not going to have the traditional, I was a single mother answer. I'm not going to have the traditional, I had three jobs and I was trying to make it work answer. I got started trading because I like math, and math is relative. Math is the only thing in your life that doesn't lie. Men lie, women lie, but numbers just don't lie. And what I learned in trading is to make $100,000 annually, for those of you that like math, that's about $384 a day. But that's trading. But to make $100,000 with my bare hands, $100,000 divided by 260 days, working days, is equivalent to the $384. But $100,000 annually divided by 2,080 hours is I don't have that. So I started trading because math makes sense. I don't care what country you go to, doesn't matter what language you're speaking. 1 + 1 = 2.
Mm, have mercy. Oh my gosh, he's speaking my language. I'm telling you, y'all heard me say it before, guys. I may say some things wrong, I may spell some things wrong, but I rather it's better say I is rich than what I am poor. And that math, I always got A's in math. I tell my sons everything revolves around math. Playing football, right angles, math. I'm telling you, everything revolves around math. I love that answer. Appreciate it. Awesome, awesome. So, matter of fact, while we're here, we'll start with you. We'll go back, Katrina. So math got you into training. Um, when it came to this program, how were you introduced to this program? Like, when did you know about the program? How did you figure it out? Because yours is unique. Again, another unique answer. Go ahead.
Well, I've actually since COVID or like previous to COVID, um, I knew actual Mr. Donnie Pips, which is your master teacher for master trading right now. I met him in a collective of individuals who were trading. Mr. Pips is a lot older than some of the people that we started trading with, and I won't name names just for the sake of the video, but incredible young people. I'm still in contact with a lot of them even today. And
Mhm.
believe it or not, in starting trading way back in COVID time, I actually put it down because guess what, y'all? Work made sense to me. Like, oh, okay, I don't have time to trade and let me go to work. Well, you don't have time to go to work either. So, but you go. So, um, again, I started as a result of just the math made sense. And I had just moved to Atlanta during COVID, and something happened to my car. Now, fast forward or rewind 4 months before COVID happened, I was there, and y'all know it's hot in Atlanta. They call it Hot Atlanta for a reason, especially during the summer. And the air conditioning unit in my car broke down. I was only there for a week. And I was like, it's too hot to kind of ride this thing out. So I figured someone had told me it was going to cost me a couple $1,000s to get it fixed. And I was like, I'm not about to do that because I had an older car. So I was told that it would just be easier to buy a car than to just get it fixed. And of course, I bought the lie because we like new things. I was just making excuses to do something I wanted to do anyway. So when I ran into these guys during COVID, it was previous to me buying the car. And y'all, I can tell you, after spending all the money for the move and everything, I was like, well, I had about $10 in Bitcoin in one of my wallets. And I said, well, I'm just going to try it. I mean, these guys, it can't be true. So I put the $10 in Bitcoin in my broker's wallet. At the time, I was using KOT Forex. I don't think they're a thing right now. So I put it in there and I began to just watch what they were doing. Now, you can't trade, major pairs with something that small, but I started with something like, I don't know, I think it was AUD USD and EUR USD. And I said, well, let me just try these. Everybody else was trading like NAS and gold and everything else. And I was like, what? So I was like, all right. So then they're saying this is a patience game. You don't need to make very big moves to get to big places. So I took my $10 and I took my chance. So and then I noticed, I said, wait a minute. I just made $1. And then I just kept going. Like, of course, I'm at like zero point 0.1 pip or something like that, 0.01. And I'm like, all right, let me see if I can do it again. So I did it again and I made another dollar or two. And I kept doing it and kept doing it until I got to about $30. And at that point, I was sold. I said, okay, I can do this. So then I shifted pairs and I found out that my favorite pair, believe it or not, is GJ. I like the Jappy pairs because the candlesticks are longer and it was taking me too long to make the money. So once I traded myself up to about $40, I was able to jump into like AJ and GJ and the London session because I was up late anyway because I work. So I said, let me try this London session. A lot of volatility in the London session. So I started trading and I went to the dealership. I'll never forget. It was ALM, Atlanta Luxury Motors, me and my daughter. And I said, Mama, I call her Mama because she looks like my mom. I said, we need a car. And I said, so pick us a car. So she picked out a car. It was in the back of the lot. There was leaves all over it, dirt everywhere. And it was a Chevy Impala. And I'm a Chevy girl because I'm from North Carolina and I know how to fix it. So I went back to the house. The guy told me how much the car would be. Went back to the house and I sat, and the reason why GJ is my favorite pair because it is Donnie Pipp's favorite pair. And I was able, because if you want to be great, you got to kind of follow the greats. And if you want great people to serve you, you have to learn how to serve great people. So I followed him all the way up to, and I promise y'all, I wish I would have taken pictures. I traded for about a good 2.5 weeks, and I was able to get up to about $400 or $500. At that point, I was able to take bigger trades. So in 24 hours, I was able to make $11,200, and I went and paid cash for my 2019 Chevy Impala. So
Mm,
you
mm,
don't have to believe me,
mm,
but I know that success leaves clues, but
mm,
failure also leaves clues. And
mm,
there's one question that you absolutely have to always ask yourself. And we do it in reverse. I don't know what it is about us as adults, but in reverse we do it. Like when you're a child, we our kids believe they can fly.
mm,
And guess what? They will absolutely try it and do it. But as
mm,
we get older, we take away those abilities and we diminish those things. And I heard the young lady talk about um, knowledge and how that was empowering for her. And I can tell you that knowledge is not, knowledge is empowering, but
mhm.
knowledge is not powerful unless you're using it.
And
And
let's
I
see
was
this.
able to take this information and I was able to ask myself a very good question. It was literally, what did you do right? And how do you do it again? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Not, oh my God, I got it wrong. What did I do wrong? When you ask yourself, what did you do wrong? In my corporate level leadership position, my specialty was change management. Like the things that you know need to be different. What systems are you going to implement to make those things happen? So when you fail, because there's no such
Trina,
thing as failure, there's
Trina,
only results.
Trina, I appreciate it because I got to move on. But
Sure.
I really, that story, guys, I really wanted you guys to hear that story. And so, I got the short and skinny of it and got excited. When she told me, look, I took XYZ amount of money in COVID and I bought me a car, right? But that story that you got, because this is the epicenter of why we're here today. Because what we're trying to get you guys to do today is to not worry about the dollar amount, to worry about the process, to worry about the disciplines, right? To worry about your strategies and focus on those things, right? On the lowest of levels, because once you master those things, if you guys got it, she said, math is mathing. This is working. If what works for a penny will work for a pound, what works if guys, if you don't know how to manage a dollar, you won't know how to manage a million. So if you don't know how to manage a dollar, you won't know how to get to a million, right? And so that was a powerful story on so many levels, right? And so Trina, I appreciate you on that one because that part right there is really what we needed. All right. And so we'll go over here real quick here to Mrs. Beam because I know we're
What?
going back to Mrs. Beam here. If you can
Okay, okay.
talk about I need y'all to hit the microphones. So, Mrs. B, if you can, talk about where you're at right now in your process, when it comes to trading,
My what? I'm sorry.
your process right now when it comes to your
Oh, my
what you're doing,
process.
because I know you've lately over the last 11 days, while you're going through your process, has accomplished some things that we're excited about. But again, it's how you got there, just like how you know uh, Katrina got there. But talk about it for a second, please.
Well, first and foremost, mentally, I kept on coming up with excuses, to be honest with you. Yes, I make excuses as well. I'm not perfect, right? And so I was making excuses. And what I say is excuses. It was legit reasons at the time, but I look back reflecting, it was excuses. During the time where my father had passed away, I was also trading and or learning to trade, going through that process. And so when dad passed away, mentally I was like, you know what, this is tough. Let me step away. I was still going through the process of learning. I was still going through the process of getting on the calls and learning from those particular traders. But what I realized fast forward, 2 years later or a year and a half later, I was thinking that I was learning, but I absorbed absolutely nothing because I mentally wasn't there in that space. I didn't put myself there in that space. I thought the activity was accurate. I thought I did enough, but it wasn't. It wasn't the case. But then also when I look back at those types of teachings, they were teaching because I did go back to some of the teachings of them. They were teaching it, but they didn't teach it to in a way where I could receive it as well. So you have to be able to open to receive it for certain traders. Now with Donnie, his teaching is so simplistic, like it gets to the point. To be honest with you, during that phase of my life when dad passed away, I forgot a lot. It was like during that window, I suppressed everything that was going on. And so it was tough. So I couldn't remember all my techniques, all my skills, all everything that I learned. I couldn't remember like the indicators and what it did. And so to me, when Donna came into the picture, it's like, you know what? I'm starting brand new, right? Angel will tell you, that's my partner in Pip. We went through the process, and some of you guys remember I trade. Like we were out there trading and in the hunt. So my process now at this point, I was like, you know what? I'm starting completely over. I'm learning brand new, like just somebody that just got in and that just got started. And so what I did was I opened an account and I said, and those that know Mr. Bean and myself, we remove excuses. We went through foreclosure, repossession, pregnancy, going back to work, you name it, we've been through it. But we've been able to come up with solutions instead of excuses. So I said, okay, well, what is the solution now? What are people's excuses and what solutions do I have? So people's excuses is, hey, you know what, I don't have enough money. The market is so volatile. It's a risk, it's gambling, it's a get rich scheme. Leverage is dangerous. People come up with excuses. Well, ladies and gentlemen, build in the trading platform removes those excuses. Stories like Katrina, stories like Latoya, stories like Angel and Dale, those are those stories that we need that removes those excuses. So when I came up with those excuses, I said, well, what exactly is the solution? One of those excuses is, I don't have money. I said, you know what? Before I had $1,000 account. I had a $3,000 account. I said, you know what? What is the average amount that typically people will put in? 100. I heard 100. I heard 200. I heard 400. I heard 500. Some people said 1,000, 2,000. I said, okay, let's get in the middle. Okay. So 500 was the average. I deposited 500 into the account. I said, you know what? Some people may not feel comfortable increasing their large lot size. I said, I'm going to bring it down to the bare minimal, bare minimal, excuse me, 0.01 was what I traded on. I said, because I wanted to trade on gold. And because I've been always, throughout these last few years of my process, I've been hearing about gold, 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 even though I was trading US 30. I said, you know what? Let's put US 30 to the side. Let's focus on gold. So I focused on gold at excuse me, 0.01. I opened my account at the beginning of the month. The first few trades, I remember I told you I forgot how to press the button. So when I pressed the button, I pressed the wrong button. I went straight into the negative $25 right off the bat because it was very volatile. I stopped it real quick. I got out of the trade. Then I said, okay, let me get back in the trade because now I know the right button to press. Now, this is my real account. This is not a demo account. My husband's like, you did all of that on a real account? Really, Kim? What happened to the demo? Well, I'm like, okay, well, I need to take those extra risks. So I jumped in and I've been trading and I've increased my account, really focused and increased my account 20% in actually 10 days, not even 11, Mr. Bean. In 10 days, I increased my account 20%.
Mhm.
And it was the simplicity of how Mr. Pips trained. So if your excuse is, I don't have the time to go to these videos, go to the point of, you know what, let me jump on the call because when they're live, those are most, for me, those are the best because now you could interact, you could hear the questions, you could hear them interacting, and you could ask questions yourself. Because if you're in an environment where you can't ask questions, example, how I was in a previous trading courses, I couldn't ask questions. I just got the video. I just got the information right then and there. They were, going through it so expeditiously that I couldn't keep up being a new person. Here with Donnie Pips, he has the live in the lab where he goes live. He has the Sunday Traders Lounge where he breaks it down and this is how you set up your account. He has it where it's coffee and charts where you could bring your charts to the table. If there's certain trades, especially gold, Bitcoin, GJ, he goes over that. Even Nas DXY, he goes over that, and you could look at those charts prior to coming. So my process at the beginning was, you know what? Let me jump in and let me just show up. Showing up isn't enough. Wake up 30 minutes to an hour before the call, pull up your charts, go over your charts, and be able to come to the table. So when your chart looks like his chart, that means you're on point, ladies and gentlemen. That means you're
Yeah.
doing the right thing. That's part of the process. I'm not saying this has to be your process. I'm saying that this was my process that worked to get me to a point of increasing my account 20% in 10 days.
Awesome. And guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's one that's important because um, she's not just trading her mind, she's trading mine. So I need her to get it right. So, but at the end of the day, so I need to know how you treating our money. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, hey, risk. You know what I'm saying? You see talking about a point oh 0.01, you got a point oh oh 0.005 or something. I mean, like, would you got something smaller than that? I need you to really get this. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about get this down to the micro, right? But I'm proud of her. Like really, I'm proud of her on a lot of levels, guys. And when you look at um, what I just talked about a moment ago, you know, a lot of people fail because they're trying to be one of these PAM companies. Like they want to do percent a day or 3% a day. They want to focus on percentages and stuff like that. I'm just telling you that's the wrong thing to focus on. Okay, I'm just telling you it's not bad to have it as a goal. It's bad to have it as a focus. Yeah, I'm just telling you because when you look at the main thing has to be your strategies. The main thing has to be your discipline. The main thing has to be, the foundational, your foundational trades, the things that you do the best that's going to give you that result over and over and over again, right? You can predict it's predictable, right? Even if you ain't gonna get it 10 out of 10 times, for the rest of your life, but you get it 8 out of 10 times. If you just do that, if you focus on that, the percentage will show up. Because if Kim was talking about, well, hey, I made this today. She come in the room and she'll say, hey, I made $3, or I made $11, or I made $28. You know what? I got my $18 back. Whatever it was. I'm like, I'm excited. Oh, you babe, I'm excited. I'm excited. And I was excited for it because I'm like, I'm listening to these wins, And then, but all of a sudden she was telling how much money she wants. To, you know what? I'll be at X, Y, and Z amount of money tomorrow. I said, first of all, that's 20%. And at that time, she wasn't counting the percentages. She was just counting the wins. She was just going in and saying, "Look, I'm 8 out of 10. I'm 9 out of 10. I'm 7 out of 10." And she was just counting the wins, right? And I'm like, I'm excited because now when you do the work and you go through the process and you now are following the system, what ends up happening is you can go back and look at the work that you did. So what is my percentage? Right. And so 20% growth, she grew her account 20%, right? In 10 days. So from a $500 account, because again, this is five. She just took $500, put it in an account, start trading from $500 to $600. Right. This is the thing. When that $500 becomes $5,000, that's 20% growth in 10 days is $1,000. Right. When you put that $50,000 in there, right, and 20% in 10 days becomes 10 bands, right? Put a half million in there, right? 20% in 10 days becomes what? 100,000. So you move the needle, guys, by mastering the mundane, by mastering the disciplines, by mastering your strategies, right? There are a lot of people, you hear me talk about it all the time. There are a lot of people who went into COVID losing a job and came out of COVID not needing one because of trading. Okay. People's lives have changed all around the world because of trading. And now trading has given them their life. They actually own their life now. And so I know we have an Angel and Toya and Katrina and Kim. We're gonna get back to y'all because again, the person who I really wanted everybody to hear from along with you guys today, he's here, and I want to make sure I respect his time. And guys, you guys have heard the story, and I tell the presentations, and because some of y'all, I have friends, and some of y'all don't think they're real because I got a guy, I got a friend, and y'all never meet him. Right. So I want y'all to meet one of my friends who, I'm saying, who I've done life with. Right. And so, this gentleman, this person who I'll let him tell you how we met and what our relationship was. But just giving you guys direct to the story when it came to my wife and I doing well, he's always known us to do well. When he met us, we was doing well. We've lived well throughout our life, while we were living, doing life together. And he was one of the people, one of the three people that asked me, "Hey, do you want to learn how to trade? And I'll teach you how to trade." Right. And so he's also the person who was like, "Hey, look, man, look, when you lost that money, right? When y'all put them bands over in that platform and trusted that person with it, that the multiple six figures that you guys lost, you wouldn't have lost it if you would have actually traded yourself, right? And so that's pure wisdom, right? And so I want to introduce you guys to a longtime friend of mine, and not just he went from business associates and colleagues to a family member. I love him dearly, and so Clem Boyd, I see you. I see the Florida background. If you can say hello to people.
How y'all doing? Good morning.
Good morning, bro. I appreciate you. And this is some of y'all think I'm last minute with y'all. I called him yesterday, say, "Hey man, boom, boom, boom." He said, "Anything you need, whenever you need me." I said, "Great, tomorrow." So as I said, Kim was sitting right there. This is exactly how that happened. And so here he is, and so Clem, if you can tell him a little bit really about you, your background, how we met real quick, because I think that has a lot to do with where we're at and what this call is going to mean to them today.
Awesome. First of all, thank you, Mr. Bean, for allowing me to be in the call. Definitely consider an honor and a privilege. My background is corporate America, specifically IT. I was a project manager for a long time. And with me, what happened, COVID happened, and we had a massive layoff at the company that I was working for. And it's funny how God works, but I had set in my mind maybe 2 weeks prior to getting the phone call. I said, I need to learn how to trade. And I had no idea what I was saying at the time, but I just said, I need to learn how to trade. And 2 weeks later, I got a phone call from an individual. If I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't respect business wise. So he wanted me to join this company. It was a startup company. And they had a platform where they were teaching people how to trade. So again, I didn't respect his business acumen, so I just kind of brushed him off. And another friend of mine who I respected a lot called me about the same company. I think it was 2 days later, and I said, "Okay." So he had my attention because I respected his business acumen. Well, I decided to go ahead and enroll in that company and started. It was a network marketing company, and I wasn't concerned about the recruiting and trying to build a business. I just wanted to learn how to trade because that's what I had said 2 weeks earlier. And after that, I started to learn how to trade. Didn't know what I was doing, but one of the calls I got on, this guy made $7,000 in that session. I said, I don't even know much about this trading stuff. I'm about to figure this thing out. Well, 2 weeks later, we got shut down and we had a massive layoff. So I had a lot of time on my hands. And from there, I got into it full time. So started going to the sessions every day, learning, and I made $1,000 in a day. And I said, "Oh man, I got this thing now." I woke up my lady. I said, "We want to be rich," and for being completely transparent with you, maybe 2 weeks later, I lost it all, blew the entire account. So
Mhm.
I said, "Okay, it's not quite that easy. I gotta learn this thing for real. I can't just be out here, cowboying this thing. I gotta really understand and get a system together."
Mhm.
So fast forward 5 years later, been doing very, very well, and very happy, feel very blessed.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So when you look at trade, you've been trading for 5 years. Um, what parent asset class do you trade that you love to trade?
I only trade gold, XAU USD.
Mhm.
Uh, you
Why?
want me to? Okay.
Yeah,
So the
why?
reason why the reason why I trade that and that only is because I'm a person that likes to see results. So I saw a young lady, or met a young lady, a few years ago, and she was trading gold. Did my research, and she was doing extremely well. So I said, let me kind of talk to her and model her and see what I can learn from her. And we developed a friendship, and that was my introduction into gold. And the reason why like gold so much is because I'm sure I think you said Mr. Pips or Donnie Pips. I'm sure he's
Mhm.
taught you about structure. Gold follows phenomenal structure. So that's number one. Number two, it pays very well. The money that I'm making on the sorry about that airplane in the background. Um, okay, I'm sure it the work that I could do on another asset pair, I can do the same work on gold and be in that trade for a lot less time and make probably 10 times more money.
Mhm.
Now, I will say this. I want to give a disclaimer real quick. I don't I don't recommend gold for a brand new person, only because it takes a level of skill, so that if you're not used to that volatility, it can scare you. So that's why I say that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This is not a gold commercial, but this everything he's saying is relevant, right? And you got a lot of people who bounce around pair to pair. Why don't you bounce around pair to pair?
So, Mr. Ben, I look at it like this. You have one wife, right?
Hmm.
So you know when she's happy, you know when she's sad. You study her. I'm sure she studies you too, but you study
Right.
her. So for me, I study gold. It's no
Right.
reason for me. I found my marriage in trading. So it's no reason for me to go to another pair.
Mm.
Now, there's certain traders out there that's their strategy, and I don't knock their strategy, but I know that if I'm faithful to gold, gold has always been faithful to me. So there may be times where I may not trade for a week, 2 weeks, because gold may be in consolidation, but because I know the pair so well, I know when it comes out of that consolidation, it's going to be a huge payday, and it's
Mm.
happened every single time.
Mm. Discipline. Discipline. Again, guys, you're hearing it. Like I said, this is not a game to him. This is not dating. He not working the field. He's like this. I see what I need. I see the value I want. This is what I'm marrying. And like you said, studying it. Like you said, I know my wife when she happy, when she's sad, and she knows she studied me. And I've never heard it from that analogy, before. But I'm quite sure everybody out here, they like, wow, that was deep. You know, that you probably hit some people in their spirit. And I'm like, you know what? Let me stop cheating on gold. Let me stop cheating on GSA. Let me stop cheating on my US 30. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me just go ahead and be committed and be faithful. You know, let me go ahead and learn this thing and master this thing, put the ring on it. You know what I mean? So like that, I like that a lot. So, but when it came to gold, how long did it actually take you to be, you know, consistent in it? And what are the biggest misconceptions, you know, for beginners when it comes to gold?
Um, so to answer your first question, it took me, so I started trading gold at 22. I got consistent in gold probably it took me about 2.5 years. And yeah, about 2.5 years to get
Mhm.
really consistent where it was clockwork for me.
Mhm.
Um, I would say the thing that scares people or scares a new person about gold probably would be the volatility
Mhm.
because it's a monster. If you
Mhm.
don't know what you're doing, it is a monster and it can blow your account. That's why I'm a huge proponent of risk management, and you just got to know what you're doing. I mean, it's
Mhm.
like if you have a firearm,
Mhm.
you can use it to protect yourself. It can also, it can hurt you, so
Mhm.
you got to know what you're doing with it.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to habits, habits are crucial. So habits and routines, you know, I think a lot of people win and lose because of habits and routines. So, what habits and routines improve your trading, you know, the most?
For me, I don't want to get too spiritual, but for me, is prayer.
Mhm.
Just because I do that with everything, so I feel like that's why I have been able to get into gold and have success within gold. Meditation, because I got to be able
Mhm.
to quiet my mind, and you got to move. Definitely got to be out here, some type of activity, whether going for a walk or going to the gym. But you have to get away from the charts, and you have to live life, but you have to do something that's getting your body moving. So
Mhm.
I would say prayer, meditation, and working out are the habits that I
Mhm.
use daily to keep me focused and locked in.
Gotcha. Now, some people like when you was talking about being in consolidation. So, um, and you can be in a consolidation with gold for a week, 2 weeks, one day, 2 days. A lot of people are gonna get antsy. It's like,
Yep.
man, look, I'm laying next to I'm laying in the bed next to her. I'm trying to show her some affection. She ain't showing me no love. It's been 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So what you since we talking about marriage, right? So
Yeah.
what so what what is it that you do, right, to stay patient and don't catch a rape case on your account?
That's a great question. So Mr. B, this is the thing, and I was talking to a young man last week about this, and I told him, I said, you know that you've mastered yourself mentally when you understand that whatever move that you think you lost, that move's going to come back. So what I mean by that is this. So for me, I used to be antsy when it came to consolidation. Like, I gotta get something. I gotta get something. I gotta get something. Well, you play your account. You do something stupid. You have 2 or 3 losses in a row, and then you
Mhm.
go back. You be like, God, dog. If I would have just waited, I would have gotten the real move. So what I've learned is it does not matter. There's been times. I just want to say this real point. This quick point. Excuse me. There's been times when I thought a move was coming. It came and I missed it. And I was like, oh man, if I would have just been in that move, I'd have made all this money. Well, what I've learned is the move always comes back. There's going to always be another opportunity. I've gotten to the point now where I'm going to find an opportunity at least once a week. So if you're just patient and follow your system that you have in place for yourself, the move will come. It's human nature to have FOMO, fear of missing out. But in trading, if you just be patient, you're gonna get the move. You're gonna make the money.
Yeah, I know. One day, we had dinner when I was in Florida a couple weeks ago, and that was an opportunity that you missed, you know, when it came to taking trades for a reason. Talk about that for a second.
You talking about that one trade when I was with
Y-
with my
Yep,
friend.
yep, yep. Hmm.
So I was I one of my good friends down here. He needed me to help him with some type of nonprofit thing. So I said, okay, I'll come through. And it was something in me. I was like, man, got about to have a heck of a move today. I could just feel it. You know, that's my baby. I know her, right?
Hmm.
So I was like, all right, well, you know, I'm not gonna be able to trade today because I'm not gonna be in front of my computer or and what I felt was coming, being on my phone wasn't gonna give it its proper attention.
Hmm.
So I just, you know, I put my phone away and when we had a break, I checked my phone and I was like, man, oh man, that would have been a can I say the number or are you gonna be just not?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
no, 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 for real.
know.
Go ahead, because if people need to hear what's going on, this is real life. This happens every day.
Yeah, so that would have been $100,000 trade.
Yeah.
And then that would have probably taken me, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. And I
Hmm.
was like, you gotta be kidding me. So again, discipline. I said, well, I missed it. It is what it is.
Hmm.
I was eating that one. I was like, that would have been a nice one.
Yeah,
But
we
I
had to
said,
drink for
okay.
that one. We had to
Yeah,
drink for
I was like, okay, okay.
that one.
Well, um, I think was it yeah, it was the following week. Yeah, it was the following week. I didn't make it in one trade,
Hmm.
made it in two. So I
Hmm.
was okay.
It came back, like you said, it always comes back. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? She be mad, but she be back. Like, see, you just started something, Clem. I would say right now, look, you're gonna have people out here, they're gonna be talking about their parent be like, my sugar daddy, my sugar mama, my man, my gal. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, all of a sudden everybody like, huh? What's going on with y'all? And y'all trading past. What these trading conversations are getting kind of crazy around here. But this is good stuff. So when it comes to, because this is very, very important because when it comes to lifestyle and people um understanding the entrepreneurial side, of trading, what happens after you learn how to trade, after you master trading, how is trading, impacted your lifestyle, the way you live and the way your freedom and stuff like that.
I would say freedom is obviously the number one thing. I was telling a friend of mine, it might have been telling you too, saying, I mean, Mr. Bean, I it blows my mind that when you learn this skill, you can make the type of money that's possible from clicking a couple of buttons. I mean, it blows my mind. I mean, there's only one other industry that I know that you can make that kind of money that fast. I'm not gonna talk about it on your call, but that's a but
Yeah.
to be able to be, is legal, is fair. All you got to do is just learn the skill, have patience. The freedom is bar none.
Yeah.
But for us, we've been able to start a couple of businesses. Own a software development company, also own a freight brokerage company. So it's been able to, and then we working on some things where a couple of my buddies that have some serious money they want me to to work on and manage. They've been trying to get me to manage money for years, and I just refuse to. So we're going through the channels and getting licensed. So I'm going to start a capital fund here soon, within the next year and a half or so. So just being able to deploy the money into areas that you can keep yourself busy and it's working. Your money's working for you. Obviously, we have investments and whatnot.
Hmm.
And when you have other things going on that also keeps you out of, a drug addict on your charts,
Right.
because I know, trust me, every seat that's in here, I've been there where you just, every day you like this trying to figure out what's the
Hmm.
next move. So,
Hmm.
you wanna have some other interests to divert your attention.
There you go. I'm gonna tell you, sometimes you got to be a good distract. You got to find good distractions for yourself, especially when you have pairs like that, and so that you're working pairs like that like go. Man, that's awesome. So how did go back to because because some of you guys are in the same position that Clem and I were when we met. Where did we meet? How we meet? And
So I met Mr. Bean and I'm sorry, soccer man.
he in friend mode. He conflicted right now. Like.
um, I met Mr. Bean in a previous company, and he and Mrs. Bean were having some phenomenal success. And I met him through a mutual friend. And just when I met him, I think the very first phone conversation I had with Mr. Bean was I want to say it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and he was just pouring so much information, so much knowledge, so much wisdom into me. I was like, man, this man is amazing. So when I moved down to Florida, I think I want to say you guys are down here for for some type
Yeah.
of incentive trip or something. It was an
Yeah.
incentive trip. So
Mm-hmm.
we met at Fontainebleau in person for the
Mm-hmm.
first time. And
Mm-hmm.
he gave me just continued wisdom, so much that I would take notes when I was talking to him. And we coined a phrase called the Book of Bean, where basically it was all his notes and stuff. You
That's
remember
where it came from, guys. That's
that?
who actually started that. Just so y'all know, if y'all ever wondered, that wasn't me. That was Clem. He gave y'all the Book of Bean.
Yeah. So the Book of Bean, and the thing about the Book of Bean, even though I learned it in the network marketing space, it's amazing how those same principles apply to just traditional business as well. So I've used those. I've used those with some of my team members, and managing them or leading them rather. And they're like, "Where do you get this stuff from?" Mr. Boyd. I'm like, "Hey, look, I got a very wise person that invested in me, and I'm sharing with you what he gave me." So it works as well on the corporate side.
Yeah. No, because guys, I'm telling you, y'all are in business with people who you'll be in business with, at some point in time in your life. And that's why you got to invest in people. That's why you got to connect with people. That's why you got to show people love. Because at the end of the day, like I tell y'all all the time, you're in a position when you enroll somebody, that mean you're smarter than they are. That mean that you know more than they are. It just means you got in first. Right. And if you treat people like they're in your downline the whole entire time they're in your business, it's going to be transactional and you'll never have a relationship. And based on, our relationship that we had while we were in business, right? We became very, very close friends. And so those deposits that I made in Clem, basically have come back to pay y'all today. Right. And so again, just even with him having a conversation with Kim last night, because this is the thing, guys, he don't get out of bed for 20 pips. And that's no disrespect to 20 pips. Right now, you got to have a foundation. You got to have a start. Right. And can you kind of when you pip off, kind of tell them what your pips look like, bro. Like, because this is I want them to understand right now. This is I'm going somewhere with this. But when you get the pips popping, bro, what is it? What you moving for?
Shoot. Are you talking about like
Your
my average or
Yeah, your average pips, and then the ones that you can snatch, and that when there's really good day, because I really want them to understand what the potential of this thing is. Once they master the foundational disciplines, though. But go ahead. What do you?
well, I want to echo what you said first. You got to master the foundation. As long as we're alive and the world is working, the market's gonna be the market. So I don't want you to feel FOMO about I gotta get them today or I'm not gonna get them. You're gonna get the market. You're gonna get the pips. So for me, I would say a bad day, a very bad day, would be 125 pips. I would say an average day is probably between 250 and 500. And the way goals are moving these past 2.5, 3 months, I've been having thousand pip days, excuse me, 1,000 pip days, and we throw a certain number of lots of that. You do the math, what that looks like.
Mm-hmm. So, so guys, I'm telling you right now, as we, appreciate the impact and the information that we've gotten, you know, again, what works for a penny works for a pound. If you can master the 20 pips, at some point in time, it's going to become 200 pips, 500 pips, like I said, 1,000 pips. But you can't forward to enjoying them days if you can't look forward to enjoying mastering the 20 pip days. Okay. Once you fall in love with the fact that you can get 20 pips and you can just eyeball it, you can see it, whatever you do to do it, and you got that thing now, Pat. Then, like I said, you move the lot size, you move the dollar amounts, and all this other stuff because the same thing gonna happen, the same results gonna come. Right. It's just now you're getting paid on a bigger level, and now it's just all mathematics, like Katrina said earlier. Okay. And Clem, I appreciate you. Get you back to your day. I'm kind of upset that you put that filter on there though, because I really like the background. But anyway,
That's not a filter. That's not a filter, sir.
hold on. What's back? Because I was really wanting to see that. I'm like, man, he got the palm trees back there and everything. Yeah, you got people in Detroit on here that's got they looking at buildings and like they was wanting to look at your background. But
Yeah, I keep
uh,
muting because this bird is going crazy out of. But this is the backyard. So this is not a palm tree.
Uh,
I
well,
mean,
go
that's
on,
not a filter.
get that old fuzzy stuff off of there. Let me see the backyard. But now, hey, as you leave today, man, and I get you back to your greenery, right? what any advice, any parting advice for you have for our beginners? Because right now this call is for the beginners. It's not for the experienced people. It's for people who really um, want to make a decision right now that could change their life, like it changed yours when it comes to trading.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry, this bird's going crazy. I'm sorry for the birds, everybody. So this well, first thing I would say is you talked about 20 pips. So gotta be kidding me. 20 uh 20 pips. There was
They got Toucan Sam, they got the airport back there, got private
yeah,
planes back there, all that stuff
yeah,
back there.
yeah. I'm like, my goodness, wait, trying to end the call. He just going nuts. Sorry about that. Really apologize for that. But 20 pips, yes. So when I the first company that I was associated with, it was a company called, I forgot the name of the company. Anyway, it's not important. They had a phrase called what was it called? 20 pips and dip. So the thing was, if you can get 20 pips, it can change your life. So at that time, when you first learn how to trade, 20 pips is like, oh my goodness, this is like that's phenomenal. And
Right.
if I'm being honest with you, 20 pips can change your life if you get, if you have a pair, excuse me, a little bit
Mhm.
slower, and you understand you have the discipline, you can really change life with 20 pips. Um, you can easily make six figures a year on 20 pips a day. Not even a not even a question about that. But to
Mhm.
answer your question about what you asked me, I would say the number one thing is, whoever your leadership is in the trading side, if they have results that are better than yours, follow what they're talking about. That's number one. Two, definitely get your system in place. I mean, uh, I've had so many people over the years try to, Clem, let's try this, or Clem, try this. I'm like, well, what's your results? What's my results? And I'm a very boring trader. There's no reason to be exciting. I mean, the lifestyle can be exciting, but the trading does not need to be exciting. So I would say number two, just make sure that you follow your system. And then the last thing I just want everyone to really, really, really hone in on is don't get caught up in FOMO, because FOMO is going to come back. So don't allow yourself to fall for that trap, because it's very easy to fall for that trap in the trading game. Very, very easy.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying, man. I mean, like the boring, mastering the boring and mundane. That's something that we learned in network marketing. Like it's just being able to do something over and over and over and again, like being on calls, being on trainings, doing presentations, doing prospecting. All that stuff is the boring and mundane stuff, but the exciting stuff is the stuff that comes from it, the fruit that you bear, like the
Yes.
life. Like you just hear what he said. Like he took trading and bought companies. Basically, he bought his freedom. He bought his life. He bought a whole new life that he enjoys. Like he's always out on a yacht. He ain't even tell you that in different countries, moving around. He ain't boring. He's not a boring person. He's a boring trader, which makes him profitable and secure and stable and duplicatable, right? And all the things that really matter, right? Predictable when it comes to everything that he does. And so that's an attestament to his conviction, his commitment, and him being self-aware as well. And so, Clem, I appreciate you, Ro. This is, really a wealth of information today. Just a real good impact in a very, very short period of time. And I just wanted people to one meet my friend who I always talk about because they probably didn't think you exist. And so two, thank you again for blessing, this and taking time out of your Saturday, last moments notice, to share some love with the folks. So guys, come off mute, show them you love them, what I'm saying? Show them you appreciate them rather, and
We
just
love
say
you,
thank you guys.
Clem.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very much.
so
so
Thank you
much,
so much for
Clem.
sharing.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Much,
you.
Bob.
Bye.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Appreciate
it.
it.
Thank
You.
Thank
you.
y'all.
Very
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Hey,
Thank
bro.
you.
Talk to you soon, Sam.
Thank
So
you.
I leave you to Toucan Sam and the alligators. We'll catch up soon, all right?
All right, man. Talk to you.
All right, bro. All right, guys. So this is the good stuff, man. Like I said, it's so many stories out there like that. You know what I mean? Like where people have actually taken control of their life, right? And trading has been the vehicle that they use. If you don't like a boss and you don't you don't want to learn how to trade, you like that boss a little bit more than you let on, right? I'm just saying, like, so you're gonna have to make a decision, right? If you don't like living month to month, but you don't learn how to push the button, you really like living month to month. You just want to complain and have people feel sorry for you. You want to be pitied. You like the attention. You like people going, "Oh my, oh poor baby," right? So again, there's not one thing when it comes to life. Like, you got every other company out there, every other business out there. You gotta be attached to somebody. You gotta partner with somebody, or you gotta get distribution through somebody, or you gotta get services through. Guys, this is the one thing where you're self-reliant. Where you can be your own everything. You can be a nomad, a person who's just locked in a cubicle, locked in a closet. As long as you got your cell phone light and your understanding, you can go out there and make as much money or as little money as you want to make. You have total control of what's going on, right? And so, uh, definitely want to make sure we ask a couple more questions very quick, because I know we got Toya on here, and Toya, when it comes to Einstein, because I definitely want to talk about Einstein, because Miss Kim and I talk about Einstein a lot. You know, do you use Einstein? And if so, if you can, real quick, how does Einstein help you trade?
Yes, I absolutely do use Einstein. No, but one thing I do, based on what Donnie has taught us, is check it. Einstein is showing you the actual diagram of where to get into the trade, shows you the TP points and your stop loss. But we still have to do our homework on it. You still want to make sure
Mhm.
that you're checking it to see how accurate that trade is, because
Mhm.
Einstein isn't 100%.
Mhm.
Although I've taken a lot of wins
Mhm.
just on Einstein, but I love the fact that the manual learning, the actual learning that we have had through the classes, I
Mhm.
can look at that trade and make sure there, because there's some that I haven't taken. I
Mhm.
saw that it would probably tank before it hit TP.
Mhm.
So I'm not looking to hit stop loss. I'm looking to hit TP.
Right.
So
There you go.
yes, I definitely use it though. It's more accurate than not.
Yeah, and this is the thing, guys. Kim and I, we talked about this. It's like, if you go in the classes, right? If you're watching the classes and you're learning the E3 strategy, you're learning what Donnie is teaching, guys, it Einstein mirrors that. And so it's very familiar to you, and it gives you a sense of comfort, a sense of security, right? It gives you those training wheels we're talking about. It's like tracing the lines in a color book, right? It's giving you the guidance that you need, and it's helping you connect the dots, right? But like she said, you got to hit the button. You got to color it in once you connect the dots, right? But that's the thing. Imagine Einstein putting you in a position where one day you won't even need Einstein, right? The Einstein is saying, remember, Donnie said this. Why would you do that, right? And so Einstein, because that's regardless of what's happening with anything, guys, you got the technology that mirrors exactly what you should be learning, right? So take the learning aspect very, very seriously, guys. Make the trainings, watch the trainings, and get in there and get the information, right? And when on Sundays, when the NFL is on, you're choosing NFL over Donnie, right? Or you choosing brunch over Donnie, or whatever it is. I'm just telling you, you're costing yourself money. Every mistake that you make will cost you. And trading, I used to say tens of thousands of dollars in network marketing, but this is trading. This is forex. This is we're talking about hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. Every mistake you make by making a bad decision, not pushing the button wrong, by making a bad decision of not being where you really should be, is costing you millions. Okay, and it's potentially costing you your freedom. So show up, for the training. Show up for that information. Show up for those teachings so you can get that information in your spirit, so you can see, when because you want to also be able to show a person. Imagine how powerful it would be if you had somebody who was interested in trading, and you were able to sit down with Einstein and show them, hey, look, this is what Einstein is doing for us, and this is why it's working. See, it's telling me to do this right now, right? Kim's got this alert that goes off. It's like, I know exactly what it is. Money time, right? As soon as Einstein go off, it's money time, right? And so it goes off on her phone, and she runs to the computer, charts on the computer, and the alerts on the phone. I know the whole entire scenario. I know how it all go, right? And so I'm telling you, like, I've never seen this woman move so fast in my life. That old child, I can't. If I say baby, she be like, huh? Einstein say baby, she say, here I come. Pew! woman moved, man. When I say move, that woman runs to that computer. So I'm like, man, what I got to do to become Einstein? I need to get some Einstein love around here. So yeah, but Einstein attention around here. So imagine being able to sit down with somebody though and say, man, this is what Einstein is doing for me. This is what it's teaching us. This is what it's showing us. You see, it's telling me to do this. This is why I don't gamble. It's telling me to do this. This is why I don't get panicky, and this is why I'm okay with pushing the button. It's telling me to do this. This is and so this is how you sell it, right? You learning it and mastering it makes you money on your own effort, YOE, right? And so now, if you want to build up your other OPM and OPE and everything else, you got to be able to show people how to use Einstein, that you actually use Einstein and that it works, right? There's nothing better than that, right? So, Angel, real quick here, you use Einstein, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How does Einstein impact you and when you're doing your trading?
Well, I love Einstein. Einstein's actually boosted my confidence on my trades because when Donnie's not there,
Mhm.
I
And Donnie
have
is there because Einstein is Donnie, but go ahead. Go ahead.
yes. And when Donnie is not there, right? When we're not on the live trades, I love Einstein because I have Donnie there with me, telling me when when to take the trades, when to take the profits, and where the stop losses are. So what I love about Einstein is also the fact, like what Mr. Clem said earlier about FOMO. I can actually go in and look at Einstein to see where that play is at, right? Where gold is doing, and am I too late to the game, right? So that actually helped with FOMO because I had a lot of FOMO before.
Hmm.
But now when I see Einstein calling the trades, and I know that that trade has gone almost to, past the take profit, I'm like, oh, okay, that's gonna be FOMO is if I get in, so let me be patient and wait for the next one. So it really helps us to be patient. I mean, it's a step by step to show you when to get in and when to get out and when to wait for that. Like Mr. Clemens said, there's gonna be a play. You just gotta know when the next one is coming, and that's what Einstein tells you.
That's what I'm talking about. And let me see here. Okay. So one last question for you, Angel, before we move on real quick here. So, and just from a community perspective, you have one of the larger teams one of the larger communities in the company. Um, how did the trading just coming to the company, impact your team, and how did it affect your team? What's the like the new you know what's the word I'm looking for here? The energy around your team. What is it like?
Oh my gosh, it poured, just like you do, it poured gasoline on the fire. I have affiliates that woke up. I had people who came to me and said, oh yeah, I wasn't really feeling all that, but trading, let's talk about that, right?
Mhm.
I had so many people that came on board that I'm talking about. I talked to them 2 years ago. 2 years ago are now coming onto this from even financial planners, everyone didn't even know some of them were trading, what was hiding trading. They're like, oh, I trade. I just don't tell anybody. Like, really, right? So all of these people, you just don't know who is trading, and everybody was looking for it. So my team has exploded, really. It's
Mhm.
giving them renewed energy, knowing that they have something, like you said earlier, Mr. Bean, being self-reliant, because at the end of the day, you know what you can do, and if you have the control in your hands, you can take your life and your business to the next
Mhm.
level. So
True.
everyone is super excited. They've been waiting for this, and
Mhm.
now that they have it, they're so excited to be a part of this community and definitely excited about
This
Einstein.
being as far as like as far as trading, as far as Omni, as far as Einstein, or anything that you want to give us a shout on, or make a comment on anything like that. That'd be You have a moment.
I wanted to share a little bit, piggyback on something that Angel had said when it comes to Einstein, and also what Latoya had said about Einstein. Einstein works, and that's really where my 20% increase has really taken place. It gives me the confidence saying, okay, well, I could press the button. But more importantly, it, you talk about marrying, right? You want to marry that, or you want to play Cupid. Let's play Cupid. You want to play Cupid with Einstein and with his classes. You want to be able to join them together because that's
Mm,
really where the impact is. You want to be able to say, okay, and this was my goal, Mr. Bean. I was like, you know what? Let me learn Einstein. Let me learn
mm,
Einstein so that way at that point I could go back and learn, the trading things and tips that Mr. Donnie Pips is sharing. But then when I looked at Einstein, I was, entering the trades and I'm like, something's just not hitting right. Something's off, right?
mm,
And so then being in class taking notes and I look at Einstein and then I look at my notes and I'm like, you know what? That's where that information is off because now I could look at the Einstein take profit one and then I could go in and say, okay, what happened was that I came in too late. I looked at Einstein too late. So now I have to wait till the price retrace back to where the entry level is and now I could then place the trade. Again, going back to being patient, but also that's where you're able to say, you know what Mr. Donnie Pips is teaching, it totally correlates, it's congruent with Einstein because Einstein is set up with the E3 strategy. What he's teaching in the classes is the E3 strategy. See, Einstein has a many, not a bunch. There's many components to Einstein, okay? What he
mm,
gave to us first was the stop the entry, the stop loss, and the take profit one, two, and three, right? So now that we see all of that, okay, that's great. So now he's teaching us how to enter in. Then the next step is, you know what? Let's put in 20 MA. Okay. The following week, okay, now that you got 20 MA, let's put in 66 MA. Okay. Moving averages. MA is moving averages. And then the following week, he goes, you know what? You learned enough. Let's go ahead and put in 200 MA. That's the granddaddy of them all. And now let's combine all three of those MAs. Let's go ahead and combine, supply and demand and support and resistance. And then you could utilize Einstein and correlate it. And it makes complete sense. And you do it right, you're gonna get your profits. Something
mm.
that you said, Mr. Bean, on a three-way or lifeline that you was talking to somebody. I don't know if you remember this, but you said focus on the process, not the profits. So I
Mhm.
get excited about $2, $3, $4, and you guys might be like, why are you focusing on what's the big deal about $2? Those numbers add up, but it's the process of me learning to get to those $2 because those $2 got me to $3 to $4 to now my trade, I'm getting out $10, $15. And so it's the process, and you have to find out what your process is that makes sense. And when you get that aha moment, you're going to be like, oh, it's on and popping. So I
Mhm.
wanted to share that piece of information. That's my final thought to close out, sir.
No problem. And so, um, guys, this is like I said, just go back and sit down and do some reflection, right? Regardless of how good or how bad you're doing right now, the reflection should be on what could I be doing different that's going to help me get to my goal? What can I be doing better, right? What do I need to focus more on? What do I need to be more disciplined on? Am I really taking this thing serious? Like have a moment. Yeah, and you got to have these conversations with you and readjust on the regular because and not on the fly, because this is your everything if you see it that way. Like it's like network marketing company should never be like your the end all be all, but trading should. Like trading should be that one thing that can fund everything, right? And so, yeah, as I'm just Navarro just hit me up, said we're gonna be jumping on in just a second. So, I do want to say this, and for those of you who didn't get a chance to speak, again, we'll get you guys next week. Apologies, but it was a great conversation today when it comes to reflections, but also when it comes to trading experiences. Hopefully, you got something out of it, but also hopefully the people who are looking to trade got something out of it as well. I thank Clem again for coming in last minute and blessing us, but also thank the panel members for you guys doing what you did today. Hopefully, you guys gave some hope, to the people who are out there trying to figure out if trading is for them. Hopefully, you inspire some people who realize that they have been misusing or not using Einstein at all, right? And whatever it is, hopefully you guys got value out of this today because that's what this is all about. Is for you to guys get the value so you can make the right decision. So we'll see you guys at the top. See you guys at the bank. We'll see you guys on the beach. And y'all have a blessed one, guys. Y'all take care and see you guys next week.